Are you trying to buy a home in this competitive real estate market in San Jose? Well, today I'm going to cover 6 tips and techniques to help you win that house. Hi, I'm Teresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com, your local San Jose, California realtor. I help home buyers and sellers experience a difference by strategically planning for their next move. So today we're going to get into some insider tips and knowledge on how to win the offer when you're trying to buy a house. So today's seller's market in San Jose is really competitive. I'm here talking to you in June 2021 and seeing no signs of the market cooling down from this crazy seller's market. So if you're a buyer, how do you compete? Well, today we're going to cover 6 tips to help you get there. Now, these tips come from my experience. I do a lot of listings, so I see several offers coming in. Just the other day, 9 offers on a property, and there was a huge variance in price and presentation and a lot of details of those 9 offers. So all this experience I've gathered. Also, I will tell you, I've been working, of course, with buyers, and I have a buyer that moved from the UK, relocated here. We did a lot of prep and research before they made the move. And then when they got here, we saw 6 homes, made an offer, and they got it. They were so shocked they got the first house, but I'll tell you, it's because we did the preparation, they listened to me, and they utilized all these 6 techniques to get that house. So let's get right into the techniques so you know what you can do to give yourself an edge. The first thing is know your limit. You really need to talk numbers with your agent, with your spouse before you are making offers. Understand maybe where your comfort is, where your maximum is, what you could do if there's a multiple offer situation, you get countered, or you need to make a move on your offer price. You've got to know those numbers ahead of time to really know your comfort level. So talk about it, research it. Will you be willing to lose a house for $25,000, $50,000? Maybe it depends on the house. So have those discussions, number 1, up front. Number 2, communicate with the listing agent and ask key questions before the offer. And this is at least 24 hours before the offer deadline or as soon as possible so that you're engaged with the listing agent and the listing agent isn't distracted by all of the calls and offers and information coming in front of them. Do your homework early. So as a buyer, a lot of this is going to be done by your agent, but there are certain questions that you can inquire to help understand what might be the best for you to make your offer sweeter for the seller. 3 key questions I typically ask are, what is most important to the seller in this move and selling process? How do you typically review and respond to offers? What time are you meeting with your sellers? And is it okay if we check in after the deadline to see if we missed the mark? These are all really important questions to understand how each listing agent is going to work and what you can do to not lose a house last minute or for just a little bit of money. Point number 3, follow the agent's instructions. Maybe you learn things in step number 2 that you really should take advantage of and put in your offer. Most agents have offer instructions that specifically request particular items be included with the offer. Usually that's proof of funds, which totally makes sense. Your pre-approval letter, of course. But maybe there's specifics. Maybe they want the entire disclosure package included up front. Maybe they want a cover sheet filled out. There's so many different things. I will tell you, if the listing agent is asking for something, make sure you're following their instructions properly and doing everything they ask. You don't want them to discount your offer because you didn't read the instructions. Number 4, prepare your best offer. Research the comps with your agent and write a very strong competitive offer. Now, in this seller's market, it's really hard to know what that might be because you're competing with some crazy competition, right? But make a very strong offer. Look at the dollar per square foot. Look at the latest sales in the neighborhood. Look at the pending sales and have your agent inquire what those might have gone pending for. All that is critical information to what's going on in the market right now and should be considered when writing your offer. Also think about how can you make your offer sweeter for the seller? Can you pay some of their fees? Do they want rent back? Obviously, as is in this competitive market, is going to be really important. So put it exactly how the seller is requesting. Now, point number 5, cover letter and presentation. Now, your agent should be gathering your offer into very clear files. The naming of the files, funny enough, really helps make it very legible and easy for the listing agent to go through. Also, an email summarizing your offer and the key differentiators. Maybe you are deciding to pay for some of the seller's closing cost fees. That really needs to be pointed out and marked and bolded to make sure that differentiation is highlighted. Make sure you include the lender contact information right in the initial intro email. Again, this is something your agent probably can do, but make sure that there's clear communication with that agent. Make sure also that your lender is calling the listing agent to talk about your qualifications and the process you've gone through. That is just one thing that's making it easier on the listing agent. We want to make it as sweet for the seller, but also the listing agent. Show them that you're easy to work with, that you're a team and you're prepared. And then also your agent should be introducing themselves and their team or how they work, their experience. All of that also matters. Maybe they know the listing agent, that would be great. But if they don't, they definitely can build up their reputation with their reviews or other things to validate that they're a good, solid agent. Now, point number 6 is to inquire and react. I mentioned in those questions in point number 2 to ask the agent is really when can you follow up? How can you follow up? What are the opportunities? I will tell you, I have seen so many transactions won with last minute jostling of people rewriting their offer before it's even presented to the seller. So some sellers, some agents don't like to do counter offers. They want to just get in contract and move forward. They want an agent to make that decision. They want the buyer to make that decision beforehand of what number they're comfortable at. So make sure you are communicating with the agent and figuring out if you have an opportunity to make that change. And be prepared to rewrite your offer if necessary. I know, like I said, sometimes you're shooting in the dark and you don't know. Maybe the last comp was at 1.75 million. You wrote an offer at over 1.8, but several people did. So how are you going to differentiate your offer from the several that are over 1.8? Well, don't just sit and wait. You need to be proactive in this seller's market. Rewrite your offer, get it in front of the seller before the agent presents to them. So do you see how your buyer's agent can be really critical in this process? Their communication, their proactiveness, their preparedness is essential for you winning the offer. So if you would like to set up a time to talk with me, I'll put the link below to my 15-minute no obligation buyer consultation. And next, I think you should watch Hiring Your Buyer's Agent and the latest market update for San Jose to understand the average percent homes are selling over and what the market is trending and which direction it's heading. Thanks so much for watching.